And we are live with another episode of State of X. It's that show brought to you by The Keeg where we talk about X-Men, all the X-Men news that came out this last month. Now, sure, right now it is June, but we are here to talk about everything that happened in May and before, and maybe that first week of June, because there was some big stuff that happened last week. So that's why we are here to talk about all the X-Men news. Fall of House of X, Rise of the Powers of X, just Fall of X in general. Is that and the upcoming From the Ashes that takes us into the new era of X-Men. I'm your host, Dimithri Perera. If you're watching us live, you're watching us on twitch.tv/slash The Keeg Show or youtube.com/The Keeg Show. Maybe you're listening to the podcast wherever you get your podcast from. No matter where you are, like, comment, subscribe, follow. Let us know you're out there. Write a review. Let us know you care, because I see people watching, but I don't hear people watching. And I want to hear from you guys. So we got our two guests. They have both been on State of X before because they're huge X-Men fans. We got Aaron, also known as I don't know, Aaron. What's your name now?
It's been a trying time these days. Technically it is still at King of Ko on TikTok, but technically it's at Aaron the Star Child on Instagram. So we're working on it. We're working on
I'm upset about that.
You're working on it.
I'm upset about it because I'm gonna be honest. I used to rag on my friend Michael, aka For the Love of Comics, aka he had so many, every social media handle was different for him, and I would get on his case every single time he would come on the show. And now I feel like that's gonna be the same with you. I'm not a fan, Aaron. I'm sorry. Come up with one name.
I know.
One name you can get across
you can't
everything.
Be as disappointed in me as I am in myself. I didn't catch it in time, and I should have. But technically, it is still Aaron the Star Child. It's still in my tag name on TikTok. So technically, you always know. I may not be there when you call, but I'm always there on time.
Why don't you change your usernames to The King Krakoa? Yeah, think outside the box. The real King Krakoa. That's right. We'll work on it. I'm just saying we need corporate
shut up,
synergy.
I hate you because possibly actually
we need corporate synergy here.
That's
I'm
so
not.
It's all about the branding. It's all about the branding, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Who's our second guest on this show? We got Gil Baron, aka GJ Baron, on social media. Gil, what's up, man?
Keep it to one name. If you want to end up sending me a mean message in my direct email, you know what it is already.
Is it GJ Baron?
It's GJ Baron. It's just the same thing everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, hi. I switched to a better mic. Do I sound better?
Yeah. I don't know what was the problem first, but you sound good, you look good.
Oh my God.
You're all good.
After a full work day, and I just
sometimes it just comes together,
I mean that's what these shows are. It's just
last week I took
right after work.
Last week I took a couple of days off of work, and I ended up getting a massage and a facial. And for 3 days I'm like, am I dewy? How dewy?
Right.
Am I dewy? Do I look
Am
dewy?
I not radiating right now?
Yeah, both of you guys look good. Luckily that's not a prereq for being on this show. Because we have other guests, I won't say names. Any guest who's not on this episode right here, right now,
I mean,
you guys went above and beyond, so thank you. Anyway, there's a lot going on with X-Men right now, and also not a lot going on with X-Men right now, because we're in a transitionary stage in between the 5-year-long Krakoan age. Is it an age or is it an era?
Age.
Oh.
Okay. What's an era when it comes to X-Men? I don't know. Era smaller?
Because I feel like for comic time, this would count as an era, because it didn't only shift just in comics. It shift the world knew about it kind of thing, especially with the Hellfire Gala and stuff like that. People were talking about X-Men who weren't really thinking about X-Men.
Yeah.
So I think they had a little era. I think they had an era.
Okay.
I feel like age would be bigger. I feel like age would be like a.
And that's why I alternate, because I don't know which one. I feel like era is more because it's more. I feel like era falls into it more culturally. I feel maybe,
I don't know.
and I feel like at an age just gives like just a moment in time, kind of.
I feel like we're gonna just spend this whole day,
I
this whole
mean,
episode just arguing about, you know, eras versus,
Dimitri, you gave us
age.
so many books to remember reading.
we're just trying to give you all that we have here, okay?
I'm just looking through
God,
the list again, and I'm
we're not just pretty
exasperated. I'm like,
faces,
I
okay?
know I read every one of these. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I
oh,
mean,
okay.
they're not. It's not homework. Look, this is what we have this show for. Essentially, is that like sometimes people out there they can't keep up with all the X-Men stuff, so we're here to run them through it. Now, the Krakoan Age, which started in 2019, we've been talking about for the past couple episodes because this is a once a month show, but the Krakoan Age has been winding down for 6 months at least.
Yeah.
The Krakoan Age started in 2019, and now it's 2024, and almost to the day, it's almost to the month of like when House of X, Powers of X came out, right? It was like July. So they're starting the new era in July. They started the past Krakoan Age in July, and this all culminated a couple days ago. X-Men 35 was like the epilogue.
Yeah.
How did you guys think the Krakoan Age wrapped up? How did you guys like the wrap up?
I'm always going to be conflicted because it ended, but I don't know. I'm conflicted about the Enigma thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wanted more, but I just didn't. I didn't expect it to end how I expected it to end. I'll say that. That's the only way I can explain it. It
Yeah.
wasn't like horrible, but like it just wasn't how I expected it.
So my big thing is that like Jonathan Hickman did like half of this whole age, right? Like he started it all.
And it's left. It was his last hurrah on it was Inferno.
How long ago was Inferno?
Kind of a long time ago.
It couldn't have.
2021, maybe?
We're literally on the internet right now. We can look it up.
Literally, yeah.
So we had a lot of Krakoa without Hickman.
Yeah. He just opened us up.
1989. I'm joking. Little X-Men comic joke for you.
For those who know, you know.
I'm like you. I fully expected him to come back for like the last, just wrap up, just like one little like final statement on it, because it really, to me it feels a little heartbreaking that we got an incredible Fantastic Four run from him, an incredible Avengers run from him, Secret Wars, and we got sort of half of an X-Men run from him, right? I know that they worked off his notes, but of course they like went in their own direction. I felt like the last Hellfire Gala was so good, so perfect, and everything since the last Hellfire Gala, the Fall of X, has felt like action figures getting thrown together. I guess is sort of my feeling. And it feels like when you're, Hickman introduced this idea of like this AI war and this idea of a Dominion and a phalanx and all of these kind of mind-blowing ideas, and in the end it kind of was just another god, right? And I feel like if Hickman had been able to finish at least like that concept out, I think it would have ended in a more satisfying way. I hesitate to say that it feels rushed, because I feel like we had almost a year since the last Hellfire Gala. Like it feels like it was a really long time that this Fall of X has been going on. Like this war with Orcus has been going on a long time, especially like it led out to Iron Man and all of this stuff. But like if you can call that rushed, it was rushed, right? Like there was not only there was like an Infinity comic, there was a Cable series,
Right.
There was a Cable and Bishop series. Like Cable had time to have 2 separate series.
Oh yeah,
that part exactly. You
Yeah.
forget about that, but yeah, he had a whole 2 series like of stuff, like, and it
Right.
was pretty decent. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I've been actively reading Cable stuff, and that I would have never thought I would have said that in my whole lifetime. But like, it's actually pretty good. Like, I've been reading all of this stuff.
So I looked up the timeline.
Mhm.
Inferno ended January 2022, which essentially means it's been two and a half years,
Okay.
right?
So approximately half.
He did approximately half, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're
That's
like,
respectable.
I did like the final Hellfire Gala. I loved it. And then you're
I mean,
right.
it was so heartbreaking.
It was like the last
Right.
hurrah before they just kind of spun their wheels until they kind of got to the end. And I feel like even something like at the end right here that ended was Wolverine, and Wolverine had the Sabretooth War. I thought the Sabretooth War would have much more lasting impact on Wolverine and his new direction and maybe some lessons learned. The only real big thing that happened was Dakin dying.
Yeah.
And then spoiler, he is in Helverine. That's why I started reading Helverine. So in Helverine #1, oh, Aaron, you didn't know this? See, so I wouldn't have read Helverine because I don't care about Wolverine and Ghost Rider mashup. I don't care about them.
Yeah, I don't
But
care
then
about that.
I found out before I
But
even read the
Dakin?
first issue,
Akihiro?
it is
I wasn't
Dakin.
sure that Helverine was like in continuity.
Yeah, it is.
I guess it is.
Yeah, I
it's
wasn't either. That's why I
Dakin.
was like, I don't care.
It's Dakin coming back from, like, I assume hell, or they've taken his corpse and infused the Ghost Rider into him, or a Ghost Rider into him. Yeah.
So you're telling me that Helverine is Dakin this whole time? And I haven't been reading it?
Not this whole time, but there's only one issue out. But yes, that is yes.
This whole 22 pages that I haven't read it.
I haven't been aware. He's just been out here in the streets, and I've been wondering where he's been, how he's doing, and now he's just been here, out here.
Although I
I'm
would have been
coming.
like, I would have normally been like, well, let that guy stay dead for a while. No, I didn't think he should have died in the first place.
No,
so I'm happy
at all.
he's back
I
almost
assumed-
automatically.
I assumed all
They've
of these
done a-
deaths were going to be reversed. Like I did not
Yeah.
assume for a second that God, what I want to call him
Quentin?
I'm forgetting his name.
Quentin Quire?
Quentin Quire, I think.
Yeah.
Quentin Quire was gonna stay ahead in a jar. That was never gonna happen.
Well, we
He's
knew
still ahead in the jar, that's
no
crazy.
matter what that, like, he was going to be in the new upcoming X-Men stuff, right?
Right.
True.
And so his head in a jar thing, it was kind of sad at the end. In Wolverine #50, a couple of things happen, but one of which is he's with his cuckoo girlfriend, and that doesn't mean crazy girlfriend.
Esme.
It's one of the
Phoebe.
cuckoos.
Yeah.
Phoebe.
And they're watching the sunset, and then she turns off the switch. Like he wants to like turn off his head as he is with her. Like, it was very nice.
Right.
And I don't know what's
Yeah,
going
it
to
was a cute
continue in
moment.
the next stage, but they did resurrect everybody in X-Men 35, right?
Yeah, they did. They resurrected everybody.
I mean, they resurrected the Genoshan mutants.
Yes.
Which I thought was great.
that made me tear up as I saw that. Honestly, I was like, "Oh, they did it."
I think it's really good for
happening.
Emma. I think that's a big
Yeah,
Emma thing.
Yeah, because we always forget, like, she was a part of that genocide. Like, I think we, like, because she's like, a boss bitch, but we always forget, like, oh no, she was actually a part of like a horrible thing. Like, her and Polaris, like, we kind of forget that.
Polaris, and isn't like Multiple Man and Strong Guy, weren't they already also? Did I hear something about that? They were on Genosha also?
I think Multiple Man's clones were. I don't know if he was. But there were a few people who were there who still, like, who I'm like, oh, we forget, but you were a part of Ground Zero, kind of.
Well, Multiple Man clearly survived because he was in X-Force forever.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
X-Factor. Sorry, X-Factor Investigations, yeah.
I'm just saying, I forget what I was saying. But anyway, the Genoshan mutant thing was so long ago that I'm really just hoping that it affects Emma. Like, I think that that's a good thing for Emma going forward.
Yeah.
And I hope, my hope I don't know whether I shared it with you guys. So my big problem with Exceptional X-Men #1 coming out is that
That's the teen book.
yeah, it's
That's Emma and Kitty and
three new mutants. I came up with after X-Men 35 came out, I came up with a new theory. I hope the three of them are Genoshan mutants brought back.
I would love that, actually.
And I think that is the best way to bridge eras, because that's like let's explore what it means to be like a Genoshan mutant brought back now, almost like Captain America is, right? What I would assume is at the very least 5 years. I know we could talk about the sliding, timeline until the cows come home, but I would assume that it's been 5 years since more.
Yeah, right.
Well, I don't know how long
I equated to the Hellfire Gala
history.
Well,
I equated to the Hellfire Gala because it's an annual thing.
The Hellfire Galas are an annual thing, but Gil brought up a good point, is like, how long is the whole X-Men history?
How long has it been since 1965?
According to House of X #1, the first Hickman thing, it's supposed to be 10 years. I don't buy that for a
well, 15. That would make Cyclops 26.
Yeah. And it would make Kitty how old? Just like 18?
You mean he'd be 26 now? No.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. If it's 10 years since X-Men #1, then Cyclops is 26, and that doesn't make sense.
He's him and Jean are at least like 35.
35 seems a little old, just because I think Cyclops and Jean are the same age as Spider-Man.
Okay. I mean, right? I feel like Spider-Man will be about 35. I mean, he's had his own company. He's had his own thing. I feel Tony's in his early 40s.
Spidey is a couple years younger than Scott and Jean.
Maybe a year.
He's Iceman. He's Iceman's
age. And Iceman is like a year.
The age of Iceman and Kitty, kind of. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait, are Iceman and Kitty the same age?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Kitty's a little bit younger.
Kitty's a little bit younger.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, right.
She was 13 when she joined the X-Men.
Yeah. So,
are we okay, guys?
I'm trying to upload some images right now, so we have some cool stuff to look at.
Marvel math is hard. Marvel math is hard, guys.
So I'm gonna say 20 years since X-Men #1, right? Because that would make Scott. So if Scott's 35, or 35, that's close to 20 years since he was 16.
Yeah, reasonable, right?
And
it's been at least 15 to 20 years. I feel like that's a reasonable time skate.
Sorry, what was that?
He said 20 years would be a good time scale. I feel like 15 to 20 years would be a good little moment for where they from when the first X-Men 1 started.
Yeah. I mean, I would say 15 to 20 is probably decent. Mostly because think about you're telling me Captain America only got frozen out of ice 8 years ago?
That's what I keep coming into the thing.
The Avengers roughly started the same time as the X-Men, right?
A little earlier, right?
And Fantastic Four, right?
Yeah, and Spider-Man 2, right? So that's all we know for certain, that they all started around the same time. We had roughly the right age for Peter Parker, and I'd say Peter's in his 30s.
But the Spider-Man, I feel would have to have come out definitely after the X-Men, since they already knew what mutants were and were accusing him of that. Once he came out the gate.
I don't think so. Spider-Man came out before X-Men #1.
Definitely, the book came out before.
Yeah,
I mean, the books, but I feel maybe in the.
That's a retcon, though. So we can't figure out.
The world will never know.
The world knew about mutants when Spider-Man came out, right? In history, not in our history, but in their world.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like it's a lot. But the point being is that what were we getting at? Oh, how long's it been since the Genoshan mutants have died?
Okay, so 4 or 5 years is not that weird.
Yeah.
Right. I feel that's a good amount.
Because I'm trying to, think about. Yeah.
Because that's 25 years ago. That's close to 25 years ago.
Right.
In our world.
In real
world.
In 5 years, that's not that crazy to me.
How long do you think Krakoa lasted? I mean, 3 years, right? That's roughly.
I'd still give it the 5 years. I don't know, like because they make it a point to say that it's an annual event in the
But
comics.
it only happened
So
3
like
times.
it's happened. No, wait.
Hellfire Gala is
The
only
Hellfire
Sure,
Gala happened.
you're
and that
completely
means
right.
there's
Yeah,
2 years in
you're
between.
completely right. Yeah.
There's 2
So yeah,
years
3
in
years.
between the 3, right? So all we know
Right.
is it's 2 years plus. That's all we know for certain.
Right. Maybe a 4 for them to like build world build, but yeah, the 3, yeah, that
So
seems
you're
about
saying
right.
that entire 20 years between Morrison and now happened in 1 year? Okay.
Oh my
No,
God,
no, you're
Jesus
right. You're
Christ!
right. Yeah,
You're
yeah. Right. So it's because it's Morrison's run. Oh yeah, it's Morrison's one. It's Whedon's run. It's House of
oh
M.
God, Avengers versus
It's
X-Men,
KT
Inhumans,
Faction,
like
Decimation,
right.
Extermination, yeah.
Like it just
Messiah
wouldn't make any
Complex,
sense. So you're right.
Messiah
I
Complex,
mean,
God, Messiah Complex alone. Jesus Christ. And can we talk about before we go
Bendis.
in, can we talk about a Messiah complex? I did like the fact that they brought the full circle Hope thing to I don't know why, but I did like that Hope the Phoenix is Hope's father, mother kind of thing. I don't know
I mean, it
why.
transcends that, right? Isn't it supposed to be
Yeah,
more like the Virgin Mary and like
kind of. That's exactly what it's supposed to be like.
you
And
know
that's what cuz
divine
they kind of did.
intervention?
Exactly, and they kind of did exactly what Chris Claremont originally planned to do with like Rachel. Like Rachel was just supposed to be the daughter of the Phoenix, and like she just used like her and she used Jean as a vessel. I like the fact that they
Really?
kind of went into it. Yeah, like she was supposed to be the just the daughter of the Phoenix, and like maybe just like use Scott's like body as blood as like a template or something, but that was his original plan for it. And I kind of like that they did that with Hope instead, and just like kind of brought that full circle. I don't know why, and I like that we get to meet her mom. I don't know why that gave me kind of solace. I'm like, oh, she's
Well, because
kind of
she
she's a
dies,
tough bitch
right?
like her mom, like her daughter. Yeah,
She
yeah, she's a
ascends.
tough broad, and I like her.
I don't remember. Did we ever meet her like ever in Messiah
Never.
Complex or in
I feel like we've probably seen a
second?
pregnant woman.
No, Messiah Complex. Yeah, that's right. Did we meet her at all? Did we
I
know
think
anything
Second
about
Coming
her?
is when it started. I don't think we get to meet her. I think we just get to see the pregnant woman, but we don't get to see. We never get to like see her and get to know her like that, and like to find out she was like a firefighter, and like to like get to actually see who she is. I like that. I love that little moment for her.
Yeah.
And technically, she is a Summers now and forever too, because she's technically made of Jean's love and whatnot. So that's a cute moment for them.
X-Men loves family tree drama.
Oh
Like
yeah, look here. There's no more complicated tree than a Summers Gray clan. Okay, like
So,
you're gonna get a few hop and skips. You're gonna have a few questions in
yeah.
a
all
family
right.
reunion.
So you're
Okay,
telling me this man has 4 children from 3 different universes by 2 different women, and he's only had
thank you.
sex the one time?
Okay,
No.
Stop it.
What?
right.
Well, here's also
Ben didn't
just
even
a
get his actual wife pregnant. What?
well. Here's the question though.
Shooting
Is
blanks the whole
also
time.
like the question is once you've had psychic sex, is there any
Yeah.
point to have physical sex?
Right. I mean, contraception is no longer. I mean, is no longer an issue at this point. You can just, we're just having fun. That's.
Right.
I feel like psychic sex is probably the best. I don't
I mean,
know.
it just bypasses all the other stuff. You can it'd be just
Right.
mainlining sex, right?
That's literally it. Anywhere you want to.
Look,
Right.
all you have to do is ask Commander Riker. That man could have had any woman in the universe. Was like, didn't even go for a full psychic. Went for an empath.
Yeah.
Like, that was
And
the best sex I've ever fucking had. Was
I love that you're bringing in
it makes
Star
sense.
Trek. For anyone
I
who
love a Star
doesn't
Trek
know,
reference.
they're like,
Yeah.
who the fuck is Commander Riker?
everyone knows who Commander Riker is.
I'm a new Trekkie. So, but it took me a minute. I was like, oh my God, Riker.
This man is sleeping with, non-binary aliens, is sleeping with tar monsters, and when a lady with hair extensions who can, shoot her emotions into your head comes wrong.
I like how you dissed empaths.
You're just freebasing emotions. You know?
You're like, she's not even a full telepath.
Not even a full telepath. And this man was like,
You don't use your
yeah,
emotions.
I could sleep with a mermaid lady from Tau Ceti Alpha 6. I could sleep with,
She can feel me.
Yeah. That emotional connection.
Right.
That's what Commander Riker will tell you. It's all about emotional connection.
Right.
It's all about the emotional connection.
Right.
Big facts.
Gil, quick question for Gil. What's your favorite X-Men family tree?
I mean, generally the Summerses. I mean, I think X-Men is about the Summerses, right?
Yeah.
I also like the Braddocks as just like a collection of people.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that that Warren and Betsy kind of could have worked it out.
Yeah.
Obviously I like the Betsy and Rachel pairing. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah. Love them, actually.
You know, but
I don't like the Braddocks at all. I'll
as a whole thing.
I'll come on. I'll come on this. I've said it
you don't like
times.
magic. You don't like Magic and Mutant.
I don't like.
Oh
magic.
no, the Rasputins are obviously.
Well,
yeah.
I like that magic. So
yeah,
Can we give the Guthries some respect, please? Like
I'm
the
a
Guthries
Page
are
fan,
a
so
respectable mutant family. Okay.
I like Husk. I just read the Generation X Volume 2 for the first time.
Oh,
and I was like,
okay.
Husk has some moments in this one.
Wait, is that the one where she's evil?
She's a teacher? where Monet is evil.
Oh,
wait,
okay, yeah, when she becomes possessed by her brother and stuff.
Oh, the original run.
No, the recent
Volume 2. No, the more recent one when they're like teachers and stuff.
With
And it is when
Husk
does become a little evil. Like she has a little mental breakdown, I think. That's really what it is.
Okay, yeah. Well, I was thinking it was the Husk one, but no, that's when that's the Jean Grey Institute run, Wolverine and the X-Men.
Yeah,
period,
Generation
right?
the Generation X one. That's the last Generation
No,
X.
yeah, but I'm saying when Husk was evil and she's dating Toad.
Oh, yeah, that was it. Yeah.
That's
that was in the beginning of the book. Yeah, well, later in the book. So
yeah, this is pre that.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. You're just getting into it. Yeah. So we just kind of gave you a spoiler, but yeah,
all right.
That's a moment we don't talk about either. We don't talk about Bruno in that moment because Toad and Husk. We don't. Why that happened? It was a cute moment for Toad, I guess.
I mean, that's back when Toad was like becoming better and being nice.
Yeah, he was a good guy, and like he didn't deserve that. I felt bad for him after at the end of that. So I was like, oh, that's not fair.
I forget what happens, but I won't spoil it for Gil, I guess, who's doing the.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it.
Here's what I'll say: Paige Guthrie truly does not care what you look like.
At all.
She dates character.
Who does she date in the original run?
Chamber.
Oh, that's
Chamber.
Right.
Yeah.
That man had no mouth.
Okay, thank you. And you know what's crazy? He was like a lot of people were going for him, and I'm like, he has no face, guys. What is going on?
Yeah,
like,
but in the end, Everett got, I think, like, both Jubilee and M were like after Everett.
Yes, and I love that for him.
Emma would have been after him too if he had survived.
Had he been that right? Yeah. Had he been in the right age column? Mm-hmm. For sure.
Everett was heartthrob for sure.
Here's a controversial question. Has Emma ever expressed attraction to a black man?
Huh.
Because
interesting.
Obviously Scott, obviously Tony, right?
I feel
Captain
like there
America,
is one, but I don't
Captain America.
think it is.
You know, I'm not saying she isn't, and she's also a fictional character.
Can you find her a nice black man?
You know?
I don't.
I mean,
I would like her to find a nice bald black man for some reason. I don't know why that would be a good moment for her. I don't know why.
She switched bodies with Storm one time.
Oh, I don't want
to.
They switched bodies. Maybe she checked herself out in the mirror. I don't know.
You know.
Anyway, that's just just an interesting question I wanted to throw out there. So at the end of House of X or Fall of the House of X, Rise of the Powers of X, basically the House of X one is about Orcus. It's about the Sentinels. It's about like Nimrod and and whatnot. How do you guys feel like that story wrapped up? Just the on the ground story, because Rise of the Powers is about Enigma and the Phoenix
Yeah.
and blah 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 and time and stuff. But then the house. How do you
Well,
guys
this is what
like
I was
how
saying is
that-
that I felt like everything since the last Hellfire Gala has been smashing action figures together, right?
Right.
Like there wasn't anything about. I was interested in the trial of Cyclops, and I liked kind of how that played out, but it wasn't interesting, right? It wasn't. There wasn't a deeper thing to it, and in the end, Nimrod gets defeated by lightning. As much as Storm is queen and all of that stuff, it's great, but it's not like they figured out a really clever way to end the threat of Nimrod. In the end, it was just, oh, we just need more force,
I
Right.
agree and disagree. So I did feel like it was a lot of, clashing action figures together, but I feel like honestly, after how much it was built up, we kind of needed to see big action clang clang boom boom shoot 'em ups for a little bit, like in one of the comics, and I think this one did a good job in giving us the moments that we needed. I feel like more so than giving us like the creative way of doing Nimrod, because I did want to see something more creatively done with Nimrod. Like, but I did like the moments that we get in it. Like especially surprisingly, the one I had that we have for Scott Summers being and Nimrod calling him the Omega Mutant, and just the fact that how he what is it the fact that how we find out that he's the only one who can beat or break into Nimrod's like armor. Like I thought that was a cool moment that we get to see. And then what else? The moment when Magneto comes back into the fray and Polaris sees him for the first time. I thought that was a like nice moment. I think it gave us little moments, but it wasn't for that central story. I feel like it was just like it just gave us like the little moments that we needed, like seeing Emma Frost and Ev and Sync work together, and like seeing all these people like come together. And I do like that we got the moment of Storm being the like him saying like out of all his scenarios, Nimrod says of all of his scenarios that he's done, Cyclops was always the last mutant standing. But then he does this like they do that little calculation that, oh yeah, I love that you're wrong, that of the last mutant standing it was Storm. I do like that because we always get this moment of like, oh, it's Cyclops who's going to be the one to save the day, and he's going to be the one to be the end all cure all for it. But we forget that she is just as capable and equally as good as him. And I feel like if anything, that's what the Krakoan age has given us for our era has given us, like just like the fact that Storm is her too. Like Scott is him. Like one thing, I've never been a Scott fan, but he is him, and I will give him that respect. But I feel like we kind of forget that. Oh yeah, she is that girl too.
Yeah.
I'm so fascinated to see what happens next on the Storm level, because obviously X-Men
Yeah,
Red was incredible, Resurrection of
right.
Magneto was really
Sword.
cool. Like it really brought Storm
Mm-hmm.
up to like the level that she should be at.
Right. She should have always
um
been.
but like in all of the new solicits, like she's going to be an Avenger, she has her own title. I think there's going to be
Oh,
some really
that's
cool
good.
stuff coming up for Storm, and I'm really excited to see it. Like
Yeah.
I wonder what could make Storm join the Avengers, honestly. Like what's
Yes,
like
that's it.
what
I'm
could convince her? But she was always like on that level. There's no like if
Right. She's always technically been an Avenger.
no. When? When was the last? When was she an
When
Avenger?
she was with Black Panther. That's
You know,
when
you
she
marry into the Avenger.
well, she helped them on a lot of things during that time.
No,
Like
I'm
she
I'm
answered
not
the
saying she's
call.
not worthy. I'm just saying she was deliberately kept out of the Avengers for so long.
mm-hmm.
You know?
I feel like, and I know this is not an Avengers episode, but when Jason Aaron took over Avengers with Ed McGuinness, he really brought like a JLA kind of vibe to Avengers, right? It was
Yes.
like, let's have
Wow, thank you for saying that. I
all of the A list Marvel heroes
Yeah.
who aren't X people are all going to be on this team. Doctor Strange, Ghost Rider, the She-Hulk, like you're gonna have all of your
Yeah.
people. And the
She-Hulk
one
and Thor
person that
dating
always felt
apps.
like a giant like missing piece of that was Storm. Because if you look at like the most powerful characters in Marvel who aren't just like straight up gods,
Yeah.
Right.
maybe it's Captain Marvel and Storm and Thor and Hulk,
Right.
right?
And Jean. Mhm.
And Jean, of course.
Yeah.
But
Well, Jean was so very specifically an X-Men character. I mean, that's also the thing. I mean, Storm was very specifically an X-Men character, right? Like Storm,
Right.
she never went to like the Fantastic Four like Wolverine once did, like he was a member,
Mhm.
or like
She was a part of the Fantastic Four.
yeah, the X. Wait, when was she a member of the Fantastic
Storm?
Four?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When she was
lots of
she took over, her and Black Panther took over for Reed and Sue for like at least like 15 issues in the Fantastic Four. So it was right after Civil War when they were having their
Okay.
marital issues and she had left him. Like they were a part of it. It's actually pretty hilarious. Like it's a moment where she tells Black Panther, "Don't make me embarrass you in front of your little friends," and I absolutely love it. It like she literally says it on panel, and I'm like, this is the best Black mom moment I ever had, and I just want this to last
Don't make me embarrass you. I love that.
forever.
I just think classically like Iceman was on the Defenders or the Champions. I forget which team.
hmm
You know, like
Um,
Beast was on the
I think both
Avengers.
actually.
Um, Angel was on the Champions, right?
hmm
Like the original X-Men have gone on. I mean, young Cyclops was on the new
Right. And
Champions.
honestly, I'm kind of surprised he hasn't been on the Avengers. I don't know why.
He would butt heads.
Yeah,
Cyclops,
oh, for sure. Totes my
the
goats, but that's why
Avengers
we would
don't
love it.
need Cyclops, and Cyclops doesn't need the Avengers.
True. True.
You know, um, but Gil, the run that you were saying with Ed McGuinness and whatnot, what time period was that?
That's the one that just ended. That Jason Aaron just left.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That was that.
Yeah, with the
McGuinness run. And
multiversal
then
Avengers and stuff, I stopped reading halfway through.
Yeah, but it
I think.
started in a
Yeah.
very like JLA kind of way. Like they
Oh
literally
yeah.
used a celestial as their base and was up in like the North Pole or something. And I was like,
Kind of. Yeah. Exactly.
is this a DC book? Like it felt like such a
It did.
DC version
It
of
did.
the Avengers, and I liked it. I thought it was a
I
cool
did.
take
I thought it was cool.
until it went all multiversal like that. But you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot happening. I even like the Red
Storm was a big,
Widow, all of that. It was cool.
yeah, Storm was a big gap in that. So
Yeah.
where's
So, like, she has her own solo title, but I want to see her deal with mutants. And,
Yes.
but I also think it's Marvel realizing that, like, they need Storm for the Avengers lineup because the Avengers lineup's kind of bland to me. Like, this most recent run is very bland. It's just the MCU Avengers. It's just classic team. And, like, the Avengers, we've talked about it a lot. Classically, the Avengers are not a best-selling team. Like back in the day, the Avengers are just like they're there. The X-Men are the best-selling team, and so to bring a classic lineup into Avengers nowadays, it's like no, try new things, try to shake things up. You know,
Right. I like the new book, but I do feel what you're saying though. It does feel like a kind of a status quo. Whereas one thing I will say, I do like the dynamics that they show in that show, in that one. I feel like they're very great in the dynamics that everybody has, like especially with like Black Panther and everybody. I like that.
I feel like the
And
most
the
interesting thing about the current Avengers to me has been Blood Hunt.
Oh, it's been great. Blood Hunt's been great.
Like,
yeah,
I really liked Blood Hunt. Like the Avengers all getting whooped was just like okay,
yeah,
you guys are a real
we
threat.
love
And I
that.
think the
We
designs
love that.
of the vampire or whatever they are, the designs are
Shout out
really
to
cool
Pepe.
and interesting.
Yeah.
And I thought that like the Avengers coming back to whoop their ass was well done too. Like, okay, they got blindsided, but once they like got their stuff together, they were able to do it. So I thought like that made the Avengers look really good. And I feel like I don't want to spoil who the bad guy is in Blood Hunt right now, but like, what an interesting
Right.
thing to do. What a
It was
great
The
twist.
twist,
right.
the twist at the end of issue 1, you're saying?
Never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, by now
Never
it's
expected
been a
that.
couple months, right? Like it's been 2
Okay,
months.
it's Blade.
We're already on
Blade is the
Blood
bad
Hunt 3
guy.
is about to come out.
Clearly, Blade is under the control of someone. I don't know, but like,
Clearly, he has to be, right?
he must
Well,
be. But
he speaks like he's like possessed by something. So it could be the Adana. I believe that's what they were called in the Blade run that just ended. There was this like otherworldly thing that possesses people. So why it wouldn't just be that,
Hopefully, God.
you know? But
'Cause,
Dracula
I
is
feel
teaming
like
up with Bloodline to take him down.
yeah, and that's what I'm scared of. I don't know why. That's my big. I'm like, his daughter's gonna have to do it, isn't she?
You think Blade's gonna die?
I feel like he might die. Like,
do you guys
to
like?
sacrifice
Do you guys like this
himself,
last
he'll
Blade
probably die.
series?
Oh, this last one? I mean, the art was amazing. I
The
liked
art
it.
was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Jordi
actually.
Belair for like president of comics forever. Like Jordi Belair, I don't like everyone needs to be like learning in her school or whatever. Like she is doing the most incredible work on Birds of Prey. Every book she does is so gorgeous. Like I thought Blade was unreadable, but I was just
Yeah, the
like
colors and everything.
glued because it looked like
Wait,
it
it's the
looked
same
like
artist as in Birds of Prey?
no, the same colorist.
Oh, the colorist. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Jordi Belair like is not a penciler. She's a colorist.
Yeah.
And the fact that I was reading that book for the colorist, are you kidding? Like because you have to realize like this book looked like Michael Mann's fucking, Miami Vice. It was so good. So gorgeous.
I gotta be honest, I don't normally keep track of colorists. And
me neither. The book was so gorgeous that I had to look up who the colorist was.
Yeah. Yeah. I need to keep an eye out because the distinction of like what a good colorist can do, what a good inker can do,
Right, because there's rare like it wasn't until like what was it? It was like 7 years ago I started looking at like artists and I'm like, wait, I actually love you.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of artists tend to work with the same inkers and the same colorists,
for
right?
sure.
And they at least try to, and sometimes they get split up. But
it always breaks my heart when I see John Romita have a bad inker, because like when he has a good inker, he is on. When he has a bad inker, it
he's
just looks.
He's a specific kind of art.
What's your favorite JR art?
Oh, mine it has to be Daredevil Man Without Fear, but that's from 1992.
Oh yeah, that doesn't. I mean, at least recently, because like artists change their styles, right? Like
sure. I mean, look, I haven't minded him on Spider-Man. I thought Spider-Man has been pretty good recently, art-wise, especially the Romita stuff. But I thought his Superman was terrible. I was like, how is DC publishing this? Like,
when did he do Superman?
During the Bendis run. He was I think on Action. I was just like, why? I can't imagine, like, just by virtue of his name, maybe. But how did DC let this get published? It was like, it was not publishable to me.
Yeah, I'm not a JR fan. Sometimes it's all right, but he's not one of my top artists.
Look, go back to the classics. His early X-Men, Daredevil, like all of that stuff is beyond. All of that stuff is perfect, and he's just become more and more stylized as he's gotten older. And I think the truth is that inkers really make or break him.
Yeah. So, with real quick is the change or stuff that happened in the end of this, and I want to go into the books that are yet to come. So, so we have the end of Orcus at the end of Fall of the House of X number 5. We have like this weird Phoenix thing that happens at the end of Rise of the Powers of X number 5 that like Phoenix defeats
Sinister,
the Enigma Dominion, and then but like by Moira allowing her into her mind. Is that what it is? And she turns off her X gene. in a separate timeline. It's weird, right? At the end of that book, it shows the timelines, right? And it shows Moira finally going on to her next life, but separate than their timeline.
Yeah, they showed like it's a whole new timeline now. Like,
well, a timeline that it's not their timeline. They sent They gave essentially Moira a second
her own
chance.
timeline to live out to live out her life the way she could, like to have a chance to actually doing it
without being
encumbered. I kind of like that.
That's no doubt gonna come back, right? Like it doesn't have to be anything big, but we will one day see what that timeline is.
Right, exactly. I'm excited to see what comes with it. I mean, I like the fact that they keep it open to where we get a possibility that there will be a Krakoan age again. Like, it may not be for a while, but we know that one day there is hope that we could possibly get this.
I have a question though. That little Moira that got her X gene taken away, I'm assuming, right? And created a new timeline. Did she also get the memories of her past lives taken away? I would assume so, right?
Oh, I would assume so. I would hope so, right?
Because that's part of her X gene. Well, no, not really.
The curse,
she has the memories even before her X gene manifests.
Yeah.
In
she
each subsequent life, right?
Yeah.
Like she is born with the memories, like as a baby. So I don't know how it works, but anyway, that's I guess the nicest way they could have done it.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, even if she doesn't like have, even if she does have the memories, at least she has like she's unencumbered with having to do something about it this time.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Phoenix, so the Phoenix coming in to tidy things up is kind of like, okay, I guess.
Honestly,
right, it's kind of the same thing that happened on X-Men 97, where it's like, oh, we're just bringing the Phoenix in to be our savior at the end when things get overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the fact of what they did to the Phoenix. I've always like one of the big things I've always liked of the Phoenix of it being Jean always. I do like that aspect of it, but I feel like because honestly, who was going to defeat Enigma? Like, I feel like there was the only person who could have defeated
That's
Enigma.
fair, and it's not like it wasn't set up. I mean, all of the mutants were living in the White Hot Room for the last year.
Yeah,
exactly.
Now Krakoa East or Krakoa
forever.
Now they just live in the White Hot Room forever.
Right. Like, they just wanted to go to a gala, guys, and now they
all live
in the desert.
So we get this ending of X-Men 35, which we see the White Room, the Krakoa come back from the White Room with an older Kafka. It's been 15 years. The kid Kafka has aged up, and they've spent the 15 years. He said like the first 5 years were just eating tubers. I think he said like a certain amount of years. It was just like that's the tuber era or whatever he said.
Right.
And it was like, okay. And then they realize they can prosper, and then they spend a lot of time resurrecting like all those Genoshan mutants because they don't they didn't have time on their side. So you know, they resurrected them and whatever. And so we see them come back, and then Apocalypse is like, okay, I guess this experiment didn't work out. I'm gonna go back to being an asshole.
Yeah. Like, and I'm like, bro, you just got back here like 5 minutes ago. Like, I need you to take a breath. Like,
dude, I thought he killed Kafka.
Yeah. I was like, oh, my boy's done.
I was like, no way. There's no redemption for him. I was fine. I thought he killed Exodus, but I was fine that because Exodus didn't want to say goodbye. So, okay, fine.
Yeah.
And then, like, both of them are fine, though. Exodus and Kafka. So.
Oh, that makes me better.
So, I mean, we kind of end with a couple of, like, the last couple panels of this book, you know, is about, you know, setting up for the rise of that, from the ashes, and everything. What's the last page, Gil? You said like the last page of X-Men 35. What happens?
Oh, it's the Xavier thing. I was just kidding, but it is the Xavier thing. So it's
Oh, because he says, "Oh, I can finally die now," and then he like fakes his death, and then he's like alive.
Right, that he implanted something in Tony and Reed that,
Yeah.
okay, they clearly had a prison plan for him, but he like implanted a suggestion in their minds that would leave a back door open for him. So now he's sort of like a disembodied, astral plane spirit.
Did
Okay,
yeah. Well, his body's not dead, right? He's just in a
I don't think
coma or something.
something like that.
Yeah. Okay. But that also sounds not good from Xavier because he could turn evil. So he
Yeah.
knew he could turn evil, but he still created a failsafe in the back of these people's minds.
Wait, what happened? I'm so sorry.
Well, you're still reading it.
Actually, yes.
X-Men
Literally.
700.
Literally.
Yeah,
But yeah.
my favorite part of the book was Magneto tossing Wolverine away
Yeah.
from the train, and it's
Yeah.
just like, "Yep." Wait, what is it that he says? I'm pulling up the panel for myself, but like literally, Magneto goes just like with his hand, and Wolverine's like, "Ah, cripes!" Like Wolverine's about to kill Xavier, which is huge.
Yeah.
Because remember that he used to be
Yeah.
mad at Scott for doing the same thing.
Literally. For
Real,
years.
real mad about it. Oh
Real
man,
big mad.
he has so many beautiful guest artists on this issue. Man, this Phil Noto pages.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
so many good.
Yeah, the art, I love that every person had their own kind of art style in it.
Flash
I
page.
love that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, like,
even the Storm, I'm not Storm, the Destiny and Mystique storyline with the kids.
yeah. Oh, I want to know what you guys thought of that wedding special. But anyway,
I liked the wedding
I liked
special
it.
only because, well, I mean, I was never gonna dislike it. I'm all for like just more X-Men stuff and whatnot, obviously,
Mhm.
right? But like the people's complaint about that was, why are they having a wedding and why are the Avengers invited? These guys are villains. Why is this like? And then they explain it in the book, and
Right.
then they have the twist at the end where I'm like, oh yeah, that's them. Okay, cool.
Right.
I'm all right with it.
Yeah, right. I liked it. It was a cute little moment for them.
okay,
Like I
so at the end of the book, so Xavier has a back door out, and we see him save a mutant who's about to get murdered by a racist.
Yeah.
So he's like out there kind of being a mental superhero.
Mhm.
And in some ways you're kind of like, well, why wasn't he doing this before already? But whatever. Like why wasn't this like just his
Oh
regular.
no, but he doesn't just save her life. He actively threatens the life of the bigot. He makes the bigot wake up at the top of the building as a threat to never threaten people again.
Oh, you're right.
Mhm.
All right.
So he's more aggressive with his literal. He doesn't like to possess people,
Yeah.
right? Old Xavier doesn't like to possess people, right? But new
Yeah.
Xavier, this Xavier is like, I'll not only possess you, I'll threaten you. That I can just make you
Yeah.
jump off a building if I ever wanted to.
Honestly, I'm low key excited to see where Xavier and Magneto go after this. Like,
Yeah.
especially after like resurrection of Magneto and seeing his like transformation and like finally understanding that humans and mutants need to exist together for us to thrive. And like with Xavier after literally all he's been through to try to bring the mutants to the forefront and then trying to do his coexistence still not working and then coming to this kind of era. I've always liked the flawed Xavier, so I'm kind of excited to see like what lengths he'll go to try to preserve mutant kind in the background.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then he takes a tour of the new books. So he
yeah,
takes a tour to see where everyone's status quo is, just on the
Mm,
astral plane, and then he's
right.
in a prison like ambulance, and he's in the back, and they're like, "Oh, he's never gonna wake up. That guy is dead for sure." And then his eyes open, and that's the end.
Mhm.
Which is very nice.
they kind of switch roles, Magneto and Xavier.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
The big post that I made this week was like, okay, it's X-Men 700, but it's only the panels where someone says that someone was right.
Yeah, that
So it's
was
me just
you.
making
That's
fun of that.
right. Yeah.
And now that's become a thing in X-Men is, Magneto was right.
Yeah.
Now everyone has to be right in some way. But there's like 5 different things in the book where Emma's like, Jean was right, or like whatever, like a million times. But the first one here is Xavier being like, oh, well, you've become me now. So just go ahead and say it. Xavier was right. Like, and
You
that's
know
a
what?
little badass. Well,
It's
for him
you.
to always getting that thrown in his face, the Magneto was right, and they're being like, I
Yeah.
think what you mean is Xavier was right.
You think it's badass. I saw it as you ever do this thing like when you were in school and you're like doing comebacks at each other and then you somebody uses the same comeback back at the other person and just doesn't hit right when they use
Okay,
it and
all right.
everyone's kind of silent. They're like, you just said
I mean,
what
that's
he
literally
said.
what Magneto does. He's like, oh, Charles, is that all you have left?
Like in Xavier's mind, he built
It's
it
just, I
up.
told you
He
so.
was like, oh man, this has been 50, 60 years in the making. I'm gonna get this guy
Magneto
back.
was right. It was only from 2021.
Yeah. But like,
Or
because
2001.
they've always differed. So he's like, this is the culmination of
Mhm.
my career, of our philosophies head to head. Looks like Xavier was right.
Xavier did have some
Oh no,
points. Like,
no applause.
you know,
Okay,
Xavier.
it's like that.
But look,
Well,
I I guess this is where my personal dissatisfaction is, right? Because I feel like, every X-Men fan has gotten to the point where, okay, Xavier's a little irredeemable, like Deadly Genesis happened, and then like he gave Moira free reign, and like all of the stuff that Xavier has done that like you're like, okay, he's not like the father figure you kind of see. But now we're entering an
right.
era that is very much a 90s throwback, right? Like all the logos are back to the 90s. X-Men 97 was a huge hit. Even on X-Men 97, they did a whole episode of him with the Shi'ar where you're just like, oh, Xavier's kind of a bitch.
Mhm.
And I guess after like the betrayal of the end of Orcus, after that betrayal, I kind of wanted some kind of redemption, some kind of like, well, this is what I was really doing. Because if it's really
Yeah.
just Xavier, if it's really
Being
just
defeated.
Xavier like having no real principles, then it's almost like,
Yeah.
why is everyone still wearing an X?
Okay, yeah, honestly, that was the one thing I didn't appreciate about that too. Thank you for actually saying that. Like the whole him giving up everything just to be like, okay, if you just leave the mutants alone, we'll succumb and we'll bend the knee kind of. And I'm like, that has never been who you are. Like I understand that you want to, make sure that your mutants are all right, and I understand like also feeling like this is your only option, but at least like I feel like they didn't give him any kind of I feel like they didn't give him urgency. Like I feel like he at least deserved like to be like, oh, I was planning this in the background. Like you said, like I was planning this while I was actually doing this. Like if he had been, and technically he was technically a part of helping to like resurrect the Phoenix, but they kind of just made him. Let's call it what it is. They made him a bitch, and I didn't appreciate that.
Yeah, I
I
Like
just it's not even that I don't appreciate it. I just like I don't see the utility of it, right? Like
yeah.
once well, I really like Doom Patrol, right? The TV show. But
yeah.
once you make
Mm,
the chief like a
right.
straight up villain, why are these guys still there?
Yeah.
Why are they still the X-Men? You know?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, it's just that the dream. It'd be
The dream
different if
supersedes the person.
Xavier was always evil. It'd be different. But
Yeah,
But he
if you,
was. That's what the Deadly Genesis was all about, right? Is that he
I don't.
had
but
this previous
I
team.
feel like I feel like it's always been like underlined that Xavier's been flawed. Like Xavier's never been perfect, and I feel like through his like a lot of people see him as that, but I feel like he's never just been a perfect person. Like it's storylines like that, like Deadly Genesis and others that you're just like, oh wait, like oh he's not that person that you think he is. He's still a flawed man with incredible power.
And
Look,
he
anytime
wasn't
you make
evil.
No,
Like,
that's true.
I don't think Deadly Genesis was him being evil. He was just desperate, and he was
Yeah.
desperate, and he made the wrong choice, and he's egotistical to the sense that he can't own up, so might as well mind wipe
Right.
people. Sure, there are bad qualities with Xavier,
But that's still
he's
where
not the Shadow King, you know?
Right. No, but that's still where he is. It's his ego that made him that deal with Orcus.
Yeah.
Very
And
much
he
so.
really
Right.
thinks he can come back from it, but it's like gotten to the point that Wolverine's like, I'm gonna fucking just be done with you, dude.
Yeah.
Right.
The only good thing about the Dark Phoenix movie, my favorite part of this incredibly bad movie, Dark Phoenix, is Xavier being an egotistical asshole showboating for humankind in the beginning. Like, he's like, my X-Men, you need something done, President? I'm going to send my X-Men to help you. That's what Xavier's men do, you know? Like, that was the best part. Yeah. That was the best part about Dark Phoenix. And then
I also like those costumes with the X-Men Evolution.
Yeah, with the yellow. Yeah.
You saw X-Men Evolution? I saw Morrison's.
I gave the Morrison. Yeah, I definitely saw the Morrison X-Men costume.
Yeah, but like, you know, whatever. That movie was whatever. We're not going to get into that. So now, though, what I am excited for is this new From the Ashes. Now, From the Ashes isn't the name of the age. I think it's just this sort of initiative that's kind of easing us into whatever the overarching concept is, if there even is an overarching concept in this new age. But there's a lot of books. I just wanted to shout out, just like there's a lot of books that aren't part of the main line From the Ashes. The books that aren't part of the main line, like Heir of Apocalypse, is a bi-weekly series, a mini series that's just going to last like 2 months, and it's going to be 4 issues. But like, we also have like Wolverine Blood Hunt. Oh, all the Blood Hunt tie-ins. Deadpool and Wolverine World War III. Namor is getting a solo series. Scarlet Witch has her solo series. You know,
I'm really excited about Jubilee Blood Hunt. That's gonna be fun.
That's gonna be interesting.
Who's writing that?
I don't know why I'm low-key excited about that too.
I don't know. We also get Life of Wolverine in July, and I don't know what they're doing and how many issues that's gonna be, but Life of Wolverine.
We always need more Wolverine.
I mean, I honestly think Exterminators was one of the best books from the Krakoan age. You know.
Yeah. And that was
just 5 issues in and out, just like fun. All the girlies are here, having a good time. Yeah. It's Coyote Ugly, the comic book, and it's just so fun.
Kinda.
And to me, that seems like where Jubilee is at as a character. And I love that it's Gail Simone. You know, she's going to be on the team Gail Simone is writing, right? So, you know, and Gail Simone, obviously known for Birds of Prey and Secret Six. Like, there's going to be some like really fun Jubilee content coming up, I feel like.
Yeah. Let's go through these together just before we get out of here, because we got to get out of here soon. The first book of the new run, and this is stuff that like I am very excited for new readers to jump on board for this. That's what I'm excited for. So I'm gonna try to spread the word and get everybody I know to jump on these new titles.
I have been getting people in my DMs because they know I'm the X-Men guy.
Yeah.
Being like, I'm gonna jump on X-Men. I'm gonna subscribe to a comic book for the first time in my life.
Yeah.
Can we book club this? You know.
You know, people sliding into the DMs being like, what is the best way for me to jump on this? And it's like, are we talking X-Men? Or who are you? I've never met you before in my life. Anyway,
who are you as a person first?
X-Men,
before I give you that recommendation.
X-Men number 1. X-Men number 1, the new X-Men run kicks off July 10th. That's the first of the mainline titles. This is the I forget who's writing this, but this is the Cyclops Juggernaut powerhouse team book. Is X-Men. Magneto, Psylocke, I think, is on this team. Quentin Quire. You know, this is like the powerhouse team is this X-Men number 1. You know?
Who's the writer on that one?
Who is the writer on this one?
Jed McKay, I think, isn't it?
Okay, this is Jed McKay's one? Okay. So,
and Jed McKay's been writing X-Men already, so it's not like they're kicking off all the Krakoa writers. Like, Jed McKay's been writing.
Yeah, he's been there. Right. They get it.
And so, I mean, this is the powerhouse team. I'm excited for it. Beast is on the team. Also, Heidi, right? Heidi's on the
Yes.
team.
That's what I'm the most excited
She's
about, honestly.
well, she's now Temper, but she
Temper.
was Oya,
She was
right?
in the Jean Grey Institute class.
Yeah. And so she has
Yeah.
fire and ice powers, right? So
Right.
that's what we got for X-Men number 1. Again, I'm picking up all these, so then I'll actually have an opinion about it, but this is the powerhouse team to me. You know? Whether or not you want the powerhouse team, that's up to you. But this is
Right.
out of the 3. By the way, if you guys have any thoughts about these, throw them in. Phoenix number 1. I'm not a big Phoenix fan. That's July 17th. That one comes out July 17th. Okay.
I love the new costume, so I'm excited about it.
New costume's cool, and I like the cover for issue number 2 because Corsair is there. And so, that is what it is. Then we got NYX number 1, July 31st. So we have, July 24th is NYX. Now that's the lineup that has Kamala, and it has Laura Kinney, Wolverine. It also, I think, has Phoebe Cuckoo. Is it Phoebe Cuckoo?
Mm-hmm. I thought it was going to be Phoebe.
And
or
then
Esme.
It has Anoli, and it has Prodigy.
It's those two guys that are writing it together.
Colin Kinney,
Steve Orlando and Steve Fox.
No. NYX is Jackson Lanzig and Colin Kelly. They did reveal which Cuckoo it is.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I feel like it's probably going to be Phoebe or Esme though.
No, I think it's one of the others.
Sophia.
Oh, it's one of the other. Sophie probably. Yeah, Sophie's the good one. Sophie was always like the best one out of all of them, so it's probably Sophie.
Which one's the one that hooks up with Zorn?
That's Esme.
Okay, all right. That's a weird one. Anyway, I am excited for NYX. I'll say that. I'm excited for all of these, though. I do think my least favorite's probably Phoenix. That's just me.
I think it's going to be interesting. Look, I'm glad that Jean is getting her own book. I feel like, look, the Phoenix is a concept that's like you kind of want it to rest for a long time, but since Phoenix just came back, it's like why is Phoenix back? Let's if Jean is finally going to incorporate the Phoenix identity, let's see what that looks like for her,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm excited to see.
I just want to see, let's explore that for a bit,
Yeah. Let's move on real quick. X-Force number 1. This is the Deadpool Forge, Betsy Braddock, Rachel Summers lineup. We got Surge.
Sounds like Forge is going to be sort of the center of it.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what that means.
They're pushing Forge into the spotlight in multiple titles recently, including X-Men 97. Yeah. I think they're going to put Forge in the MCU X-Men, which is one of my choices in my lineup, in my head lineup for MCU X-Men. Forge is the tech guy.
Oh, it is Sophie who's going to be the Cuckoo in NYX.
Hey.
Also, Sage is an X-Force. Then we got Uncanny X-Men number 1, which is really for the fans of the 90s show. It's Wolverine, it's Gambit, it's Rogue, it's Nightcrawler, it's Jubilee. And they're probably going to add some more people in it. There's a variant cover. There's a variant cover that has Colossus and Jean Grey and Psylocke on it, and Beast. So it looks like they're trying to evoke a 90s lineup.
But this is the Gail Simone one. I feel like this is really the flagship of this time. When people were curious about who was coming up to run the X office after Cohen Age, Gail Simone was like the big rumor, and that was the one everyone was talking about. And she's sort of like, a star writer, an up-and-coming writer that everybody knows. And I think Jed MacKay is like certainly a good writer, but I don't think that Jed is like the draw.
Right.
I think that Gail Simone is going to bring like DC people along. There are people who only read DC. They're like, wait a minute, Gail is now going to write X-Men. I got to check that out.
Yeah.
So I kind of think X-Men is the flagship, even though, like you said, the Jed McKay title is like the powerful characters, but this is, I think, I think this one's going to be like,
That's going to be the shining star one, really.
This is going to be the book to read, really.
This is the personality hire, Like, this is the personality book. The regular X-Men title is that's the team that gets the job done, but like it's not as pretty. This one,
right?
This one's the pretty team, Then we have Avengers number 17, which is the first issue of Storm joining the team. That is going to be on August 7th. And I don't know. It's
Storm joining what team? The Avengers?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, Avengers 17th on August 7th. Now, I'm excited for that lineup, but really, Storm's just going to come in and shake it up, and I hope she's not a gimmick, obviously. And I hope the team changes a little bit more. But I got to be honest, this is the blackest the Avengers have ever been.
Honestly.
Yeah,
right. They already have two. I was like, oh, and they're putting a black woman in it? We love to see it.
Yeah, we have Captain America, right? We have
Black Panther.
Where's War Machine right now?
Oh my God, her with Black Panther is going to be crazy. This is going to, oh man, that just made me excited, guys. Oh, the drama.
I'm worried.
I don't know.
I'm worried.
I love
Who's writing it? Is it still the same writer on Avengers that's right now, or is it a new writer?
I don't know.
The same writer. At least for a little bit. But I love seeing them as exes. It's a good moment. They might like hook up, but they're not gonna get back together.
I hope not, because I don't like them together.
I feel like Storm is the kind of person who says, like, why would you pull out a carton of milk, smell it, and put it back in the fridge, right? Like, if it's spoiled milk,
right,
you throw it out.
Right.
You don't put it back.
Right.
It's also Jed McKay. That's wild.
Okay.
That's wild.
Okay,
that's interesting.
He is doing it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's.
Then we got X Factor number 1.
This one I'm super excited about. This is the one that I'm really excited to read. Aaron and I were talking about this before we got on.
Yeah.
August 14th. So that's Havoc. It's Pyro. It's Angel. So 3 blonde white guys. Then we have Frenzy. Then we have Feral. And then we have Cecilia Reyes. Is that who it is? Cecilia?
Yeah,
Cecilia! Sorry, guys. I don't know where that came from. Wow, that made me happy. I don't know why. Anytime I hear Cecilia in a lineup, I just get really happy for her. Jesus Christ.
She hasn't popped up recently, right?
Jesus Christ. Yeah, she hasn't shown up since like X-Force.
And then we have a new character named Zyber.
Oh, I was wondering if that kid was Cypher because he looked kind of like Doug.
No, he's Zyber, and I believe he's Asian.
Okay.
And I personally think that because everybody's complaints are the racial makeup of this team, and it seems very specifically done. I think it's part of the plot because
I think so too.
Like, it's primarily white blonde men and then women of color.
Yes.
Zyber's the only exception, and then but like I feel like it's on purpose because this is supposed to be like the celebrity team. This is supposed to be like the government sanctioned sort of public team.
Specifically, I think because of Frenzy. My bad. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say Feral is Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason I'm super excited about this is Mark Russell is such an out of the box hire. Mark Russell has not worked on regular in continuity books for a long time. Like, the last couple books that he's written have been Wonder Twins, which was not theoretically in continuity. I think like people referenced it a little bit, but also did like Flintstones, did Prez, the Teenage President.
Oh, like Flintstones is amazing.
That's Mark Russell. Mark Russell is the king of satirical, really just like, commentary on society, just the absolute king of it. And if you're putting him on the government-sponsored team of minority people who are going out to be cops for the government, that's going to be a conversation. especially when the two leads of that book are Warren Worthington, the first celebrity mutant, and Havoc,
Right.
who very famously doesn't want to be a superhero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Very
when
much.
last we saw Havoc was living in limbo with Madeline Pryor being her, being her concubine boy.
Yeah.
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 Like, this is going to be super, super interesting.
Yeah. I am interested. It's a very interesting. X Factor has always been the coolest premise to me. Like, because they change the premise
Really?
so often, they'll tweak it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it'll always be very interesting. Like Madrox's
I
X
love
Factor
the X Factor
investigations. But then there was
Yeah.
all new X Factor with like Serval Industries. Danger was on the team. Gambit was on the team. That was a cool
that was a cool dynamic
X Factor tends
with
to have
Polaris
that cool
and
dynamic.
Quicksilver and all of them. Yeah, and even like with the Krakoan Age when they did like their dead services, kind of just like finding people.
Yeah, that
who
was really
weren't,
fun.
who weren't thing. Yeah, it was a nice moment for them, and I kind of like that they're going to do it. And X Factor I feel like X Factor will be bringing up those conversations just because of Frenzy. Frenzy has never, anytime Frenzy is in a book, I feel like she's never shied away from talking about the issues that come with, being mutant and being a black woman. And
Also,
all that stuff.
Feral.
So I feel like
Feral has a controversial past, right?
Feral was a Morlock. Feral is the character nobody wants.
Feral
yeah,
is also
literally Fabian Nicieza was like, "How quickly can I write this character out of this book?"
Yeah,
like she was a Liefeld, kind of darling, and she's just like, she's just 90s personified, and like nobody wants that character. So to have this character, like for Mark Russell to choose her is really a statement. I feel like there's something going on there.
Yeah, Feral also is a product of abuse in her childhood. And so, like, it's a big part of the character. Oh,
yeah.
Cecilia Reyes,
she got her mutant powers by defending herself from her dad.
Cecilia Reyes is another character who doesn't want to be a superhero. Who very specifically is like, I will be your doctor. Beast and I will hang out in the med bay if that's what you would like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I will not be using these shielding powers.
Yeah, let's. I'm personally running out of time, so we gotta push forward.
I'm
so
not.
Obviously we got X-Men. We got X-Men number 2 that comes out August 14th. We got Wolverine Annual that comes out August 14th. We got Phoenix number 2 that comes out August 21st. That's the one with the Corsair cover. All these variant covers are beautiful though. So I also Jean's Phoenix looks like a Imperial Guard uniform. Like one of the Imperial Guards looks like her. Who's
the Shi'ar, you mean?
Yeah, the Shi'ar Imperial Guard. The
Thirsty?
No, who's the pink outfitted one? And I think she has mental powers.
Thirsty. The one with the mental powers, Cersei.
Is that her? And she has like a headband, I think. Anyway, it just
reminds me. Yeah, she's the one who took her who raised Xandra. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why.
Then we have X-Force number 2 that comes out August 14th. Then we have X-Men 3 that comes out August 28th. I'm just showing off some of these covers on the screen here. Then we got NYX 2 that comes out August 28th. A lot of these don't have as many covers right now because Marvel's keeping all these under wraps, so they've only released like 2 covers for each of these, and they're getting a little too far in the future. Though Uncanny X-Men and Adjectiveless X-Men are 18 issues a year each. So a lot of these are coming out bi-weekly. That's why like we're like only a month ahead and it's X-Men 3. Like they come out pretty often. But Exceptional X-Men number 1 comes out September 4th. And that one is the one that has Bronze and the 3 new mutants are called Bronze something and something. I forget. Anyway, I hope they're Genosian mutants. That's all I gotta say.
That would be interesting.
I think it'd be super. At least one. If at least one of them is a Genosian mutant, I've won. There's stories to tell. Some of the Genosian mutants came back into this world. After let's just say 10 years. It's
right.
I thought we said 5.
Yeah, 5. 5 seems reasonable.
5 since the fall of Genosha. Ooh.
Look, if we're saying the entire X history is 20 years, it's not that crazy.
Wait. So if we're talking about 5 from there, and then we're talking about Krakoa happened in 3 years. I feel like that might be, yeah.
So maybe
And so then
It's so
maybe
within
it's
like
8
almost like 10
years?
years. Yeah, yeah. I feel like that's,
Maybe.
yeah. From now at the end of Krakoa to then, I feel like 8 years is a good little summation. Like I feel like that's
How
a
old
good
was
little.
Kitty when Morrison's run was happening? I think that's a better question.
She was leaving college, or she was in college,
so she's
because
like,
I remember,
what is she, like 19 at the start of Joss Whedon's run?
yeah, like at least 22 at
But at the start of
most.
Joss Whedon, I think he specifically says 19, right? And that's after
Yeah, I
Morrison.
think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
So okay, she's 18, 19 during Morrison.
okay.
Yeah.
When does she join Excalibur and hook up with Pete Wisdom, who is a government agent and older than 18? So I don't know.
Probably like a year
We'll
before.
have to
'Cause
save that for another time because I got
right.
I have an interview for Keeg Chats episode
Ooh, nice.
in like 15 minutes. So Wolverine #1 comes out September 11th. And so
I will never forget it.
It's just
this is about him. It's supposed to tie in that the fact that like Krakoa is gone and that's kind of fueling him. Like he is in his post Krakoan kind of thing. There's a variant cover that I want on a t-shirt because it has the whole cover is yellow, and then the parts that aren't yellow are drawn in. So like it'd be cool to have it on a yellow shirt. I'm just throwing that out there. Then we have X-Force #3, September 25th, and then we have Storm #1, the final first issue to come out October 2nd.
That's too long to wait.
Shoot.
For Storm #1.
It
yeah,
is.
but she's gonna be on Avengers, so I think that's gonna tide us over for a little bit, right? I think they're trying to get X-Men fans to buy Avengers titles because
That's
pretty
really
sure
what it is.
Invincible Iron Man went up in sales when it tied in with the X-Men. I'm pretty sure.
Bring back Uncanny Avengers, then I'll be happy.
I wouldn't mind an Uncanny Avengers team again, just as
I
an
feel like
ongoing.
this is a perfect moment for it. Yeah.
Basically, there are way too many mutants and not enough titles right now.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and
like,
that's the bad thing.
Which mutants do you think need to absolutely be constantly published, right? Does it need to be the original 5 plus the Claremont Byrne team? Like all of those characters need to be continually published, and then who else? The New Mutant.
I mean,
no.
I feel like they should at least be. They shouldn't be like starred, but I feel like they should at least be shown throughout, like different thing, like maybe like a cameo here and there. But I feel like that the good thing about the Krakoan Age is what anybody could have been a star in a mutant comic. Like we've got C-listers coming back. Like we had C-listers being main stars. Like Quanon and everybody. Like so, I feel like that would be a good little moment. If they brought miscellaneouses.
I mean,
Grey Crow, Nanny, Orphan Maker.
Grey Crow.
I think Grey Crow needs to come back.
Yes.
And be on a team as like an ongoing.
I was hoping he was going to be on that X-Force team. I thought that was him until I read it.
Well, that's also the interesting thing is you got to differentiate Grey Crow from Forge.
Yeah.
Because they both have long black hair. They're both Native American.
Right.
Often wear a bandana. They have a
robot Grey Crow arm. Always has that off the shoulder look.
And both of them have robotic parts.
Both of them have robotic parts. So it's like, okay. They'll figure out a design. But I'm all cool for both of them. They're different characters, but
the Jim Lee era X-Men, like those characters always need to be kind of around,
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm surprised Quanon and Betsy are two different characters now and both on ongoing teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that.
I mean, that I think if Krakoa only gave us that, it would have been worth it. Diana.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
All right. So as we close up this episode, I want to thank you both so much for coming on. I want to thank anybody out there who is watching and or listening. For watching us live, it was twitch.tv/The Keeg Show, youtube.com/The Keeg Show, or you listen to the podcast wherever you get your podcast from, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, SoundCloud, pretty much anywhere you get a podcast from, you can find us there. But before we get going, I don't know if you guys got any final thoughts that you can sum up in like 10 seconds about this whole thing.
She gave us all she could. and we appreciate it for what she gave us. We love you, Krakoa. You know.
Beautiful. I love it.
It's been
Yeah, I'm Krakoa Chai. Yeah, comics are good. Read comics.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. It's been amazing to have the Krakoan Age in the last 5 years to bring us all together as
Yes.
X-Men fans.
Yeah.
And like it's been a wonderful shared experience, even through COVID, right? Even through the pandemic,
Yeah. Very much through
it was
COVID.
there and it brought us together. And so it's going to be
Yeah.
sad. I'm sad to see it go, but I am very excited for the question mark that is the new era to come. But I am
Right.
excited for the new fans that have are going to be jumping on. So I'm excited about that. I'm not always like that at a change of eras. Like when New 52 came in and
Hmm.
it was horrible for DC, I was not this way. But for
Oh
this,
God, we don't talk about Bruno.
I believe in it. You know.
Uh,
Before we get going,
my
Aaron,
bad.
where can we find you? What do you got coming up? Anything you want to plug?
But of course, so you can always catch me at on TikTok. You can catch me on at King Krakoa, and on Instagram you can catch me at Aaron the Star Child. But my friend here has made me think that it might be something else, so we'll see. But until then, find me at Aaron the Star Child.
All right, all right. And Gil, what about you?
I'm pulling up right now the poster for my next show. So our next show is on June 20th at the Bourbon Room. We do a show called Family Dinner with Jodie Sweetin. If you are in LA, come check it out. Come get an autograph from Stephanie Tanner. She's amazing. She's such a sweet person. So Family Dinner is a show where comedians come and they bring a food that was like important to them growing up, and they all have dinner together. And Jodie asks them questions, and they play dinner games, and it's super super fun, and it's super intimate. It's a really really cool venue, the Bourbon Room. Our guests this month on June 20th are Jackie Cation, Paul Danke, and Kimberly Clark, who are three of my favorite comics, and I can't wait to see what they bring to dinner. It's going to be really fun.
Gil
Tickets
is
available.
Oh, sorry. What'd you say?
Said tickets available at the Bourbon Room Hollywood.
All right. The last show, Pop Culture, that I went to was good. So
Thank you so much.
yeah, thanks.
Glad you had a good time.
Thanks for inviting me. For anyone out there who is who wants to follow me personally, you can find me at This Is Dimithri on TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff. Instagram is probably the biggest one for me personally. But if you want to follow the Keeg, follow us at the Keeg Show on TikTok and Instagram. We're also on Twitter and Threads and Facebook at The Keeg Show / The Keeg Show. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/The Keeg Show. And if you want to find comic shop near you, find any comic shop near you, go to comicshoplocator.com. Find a comic shop near you, support your local comic shops, find a comic shop that you vibe with, one that you connect with, one that treats you right, and you treat it right, you know? So go out there. There's a lot of great comics that are out right now, a lot of comics that have been out, a lot of comics to come. So, find one and support your local libraries, your public libraries. That's also a big thing for if you're trying to get into comics. Your local libraries have comics and they're free. Just get a comic library card and you can check out those comics for free. And it's not about money. Just go in and support them. So that's pretty much it. This is State of X. It's your monthly mutant catch up. We also got Comic Talk every Thursday where we talk about the new comics that come out this week. We also have the Keeg Talk on the weekends, and we have the Acolyte tonight, where we do an after show for the Acolyte. Pretty much like an hour after it's over, you watch it live, and then an hour later we go live and we talk about it. So that's every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. So stay tuned. You can find all that on Instagram. Is probably the easiest way to keep track of everything we got here at the Keeg. That's pretty much it. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Gil, so much for coming on the show. Thank you to everybody out there. Once again, I am your host, Dimithri Perera, and this has been State of X, your monthly mutant catch-up for everything up until June 10th, 2024. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Get ready for super fast. Gotta beat the boss and get the loot, 'cause it's the king, and we got geek news.